Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Barbados has recorded its 45th death from COVID-19. This story takes the lead in a 1105th edition of Caribbean Perspective for Wednesday, 5th May 2021. Details after this break.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Barbados' Health and Wellness Minister, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, reported the sad news that Barbados has recorded its 45th death from COVID-19. More in this news item from Barbados Today Online News.
The deceased is a 63-year-old male who was admitted to the Harrison Point Isolation Facility on the 23rd of April and subsequently intubated and ventilated for 6 days for severe acute respiratory. So on behalf of Prime Minister Motley and the entire COVID-19 team, I extend our sincerest condolences to the family and the friends of the deceased. I would also like to take this opportunity to extend condolences to the several members of the Indian population residing here in Barbados who are losing family and loved ones almost daily in India due to the ravages of the pandemic. This is indeed a most difficult time for all of you and for humanity, and we stand shoulder to shoulder with you and the people of India as we unite to fight this virus.
Bostic also revealed that health authorities are now keeping a close eye on a St. Michael family of 8 that has tested positive for COVID-19, as he provided an update on the latest infections.
Of the 15 positives, 3 are from the psychiatric hospital, 2 male inpatients and 1 male outpatient. The positives also include a family of 8 from a St. Michael community, and this is following another family member who had tested positive earlier. This is indeed of great concern to the team, and contact tracing is now in progress. Today's results produce a positivity average of just under 5%, which is much higher than the average for the last 7 days of 1.5%. Of interest also is the fact that, as at the 1st of May, we averaged 31.3 cases per 100,000 population over a 14-day period, bringing us closer to our target of 25 per 100,000. So that what we are seeing is an improvement in the overall situation in the country, but there are still what they call pockets of resistance, and resistance which we must pay close attention to. And this is the case with this pandemic.
Over in Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has announced that millions of dollars of state assistance would be provided to those who have lost income during the new lockdown, which is to last for about a month. But in doing so, the Prime Minister said an issue that has to be addressed is employees who lost their jobs last year, only to find out they were not being registered by the employers on the national insurance system. TV6's Jewel Brown reports.
We will immediately make available somewhere between $40 and $50 million. The Minister of Finance is working on that since last weekend to see what we can do to bring some form of assistance to those who are in greatest need.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley as he announced that the closure of all food services, including street food, and reduced opening hours for essential businesses will be part of the second lockdown that began on April 30th and was originally to end on May 23rd.
We are not in a position to replace what has been lost in toto, because some people are behaving as though what has been lost has to be compensated for by somebody. Ladies and gentlemen, in this pandemic, there are going to be losses of quality of life, hopefully for a little while.
But in making that announcement, the Prime Minister also made a startling revelation about what happened during the first lockdown last year.
What we found out is that a very large number of people were employed by employers who have a problem that is different to COVID. And that problem is that the employees were not being registered for any aspect of state recognition. Not NIS, not taxes, not nothing.
Dr. Rowley said when workers who lost employment went to the NIB seeking assistance, an apparent reference to the salary relief grant, it was discovered that they were outside of the system because their information had not been registered by their employers.
If you don't have some parameter to determine who qualifies for the help, you know what's going to happen. And what was worse is that when the Department of Social Services asked some of those employers to confirm that these people are not double and triple dipping, or that they had in fact lost their job at your establishment by virtue of a one-line letter, some of them refuse on the grounds that to do so is to allow the authorities to know what they have been doing.
He said these are some of the issues that caused delays in grant payments last time around and must be addressed going forward. The Prime Minister said that the government had provided an additional $360 million in financial assistance during the last lockdown, as he announced that those looking for food essentials are to benefit from $5 million for the month of May.
And of course, for the month until end of May, we will provide almost $10 million to the ecclesiastical bodies to help those persons who would look to them for support.
Jewel Brown, TV6 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
The Chief Medical Officer of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Roshan Parasram, is calling on citizens to double up on measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and keep a particular eye on the new P1 strain. Urvashitawari Rupnarayan of TV6 News reports.
Did Chief Medical Officer Dr. Roshan Parasram foresee the catastrophic spread of COVID being experienced in TNT now?
If you recall, I had said in the early part of March that we noticed a considerable increase. People at the time thought that it was too small. I thought that it was enough to cause a significant increase in terms of a snowball type effect.
He's responding to a question posed about how much the variant of concern, P1, originating in Brazil, contributed to TNT's current spike. The 10-day notice before TNT reaches hospital capacity was announced by Principal Medical Officer in charge of institutions, Dr. Miriam Richards.
What is very worrisome about this trend, really at this point in time, would be the increasing upward trend, which demonstrates that these hospital beds are being filled and potentially can result in a collapse within, say, 7 to 10 days.
We asked Dr. Richards if officials could have been given more than 10 days' notice. She says they had always been keeping records and even activated more beds.
We did increase our capacity level of about 100 additional beds and made some changes within the system to ensure that persons would be taken care of. I won't say that we were not prepared by any means. I'm just saying that the significant increase that we are seeing as a result of the continued movement of persons doing essential and non-essential activities is continuing to increase the rate of this virus to a very high rate and is resulting in persons going into the hospitals. But we did make forecasting and planning for this in advance.
Dr. Parasram, it seems, had more foresight about the viciousness of the disease.
Just because we were going into a season, as you know, there was Easter coming up. There was a period where we expected an increased number of people coming together. When you take this kind of increase, it goes one on top of the next. So you double, then you go into quadruple very fast. So you have a small, if you think about a snowball, the effect is exactly like a snowball. So you start small, and very quickly you go 2 to 4 to 6 to 8, and then 16. And that is what we're seeing in the graphs that Dr. Hines would have presented.
On Monday, 10 more P1 cases have been identified, taking to 25 the number of P1 sequenced out of 300 samples sent to UE.
Those 25 would have been picked up majority-wise from the community in most parts. P1 is said to be about 1.5 to 2.5 more transmissible than the previous strain, which is the main strain of the Wuhan strain. Taking that into consideration, certainly, and because of the localities we have found the P1 in this country over the last month or so, that the P1 certainly has a role to play.
Dr. Parasram says the virus is well established, so citizens must double up on restrictions to prevent spread.
What we're seeing is increasing viral loads of persons, meaning they have a higher viral load, and a lot of times they have less symptoms in the early stages. And what it means is that if you have higher viral loads with less symptoms, you can move through our population much faster. It is a recipe for quicker spread.
He says while there's no literature that P1 is more severe, the deaths of younger persons in TNT is a worrying trend. Urvashi Tumari Rupnarayan, TV6 News.
The U.S. Coast Guard said the cutter Tampa returned to its home port in Portsmouth, Virginia, after completing a 56-day counter-narcotics patrol in the Central Caribbean. The Coast Guard said in an exercise on April 9th that Tampa detained 3 suspects and discovered 87 bales of cocaine totaling approximately 5,500 pounds, worth an estimated US $94.6 million. The Coast Guard said the crew of the Tampa's efforts to combat drug smuggling in the Caribbean are part of Operation Martillo, a larger effort to increase regional stability and undermine the influence of transnational criminal organizations who routinely attempt to smuggle drugs throughout the region. This was our 3rd patrol we have conducted during the COVID-19 pandemic, said Captain Michael Celenti, Tampa's commanding officer. Our success in interdicting the first Caribbean low-profile vessel is a testament to that teamwork and focus on mission excellence that makes Tampa so special, he added. The U.S. Coast Guard said the crew of the cutter Diligence returned to its home port in Florida on Thursday after a 59-day Caribbean sea patrol, and during that period detained 14 migrants held by the U.S. law enforcement agencies and orchestrated their successful transfer to Cuba and the Bahamas immigration officials for processing.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.